Good evening, everyone. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't know. Why don't you move the flag?
No? Can we have roll call, please?
Supervisor McGlasson,
Here.
Councilman Ruthven,
Here.
Councilman Boyd,
Here.
and Councilwoman Campbell and Councilman Tempori will not be present this evening.
Thank you. Okay, we are going to start with code enforcement. We have some violations. Let me just get to it. We have a violation on 1072 North Horse Pond Road. The lowest proposal was from F.I. Adams for the amount of $1,800. Then we have, let's see. Do you guys want the pictures in color? Are you good?
Oh, I saw mine
Okay.
earlier today.
I saw them also.
You saw them? Okay.
Yep.
278 Lakeshore Drive, and another violation on 1072 North Horse Pound. And those both proposals were from JB Affordable Care, the only one that submitted a bid. For Lakeshore, it's the amount of $150, and for North Horse Pound, $200. So I ask that we fix those violations tonight.
Good.
Yeah.
Bring it back later. I'd like to make a motion to pass a resolution authorizing the correction of violations, acceptance of proposals, and charge to property owners. Whereas the code enforcement officer of the town of Kent issued an order to remedy a violation, directing the removal of rubbish, excess weed, grass, and brush growth from the following properties: 1072 North Horse Pound Road, tax map 10.1-16, and 278 Lakeshore Drive East, tax map 33.26-1-46. Whereas the order of remedy requires each owner to correct the violations or respond to the code enforcement office within 10 days, and to date, the owners of the properties have not responded, and whereas pursuant to Chapter 55A of the Town Code of the Town of Kent regarding property maintenance, upon the failure of any owner to comply, the building inspector is authorized to correct the violation subject to the approval of the town board, and the town board wishes to authorize the building inspector to correct the violations. And whereas consistent with the town's procurement policy, the town of Kent requested 3 written proposals from contractors to correct the violations on the properties, and received 1 proposal in response to each violation, copies of which are annexed here too and incorporated by reference. And whereas the town board wishes to accept the sole and therefore lowest proposal submitted on the properties as further outlined below: 1072 North Horse Pound Road, $1,800 to F.I. Adams Incorporated for the rubbish, and 1072 North Horse Pound Road, $200 to JB Affordable Lawn Care Incorporated for the excess weed, grass, and brush, and 278 Lakeshore Drive East, $150 to JB Affordable Grass Care Incorporated. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby accepts the proposal of F.I. Adams Inc. as described above for a total cost not to exceed $1,800, and the proposals of JB Affordable Lawn Care Inc. as described above for a total cost not to exceed $350. And be it further resolved that the actual cost of the correction of the violation plus the accrued legal rate of interest from the date of completion of the work shall be charged to the property owners by the town in accordance with Chapter 55A-12, subsection B. I make this motion.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're gonna go back up to the top of our agenda, and I invite Evan Lalick, who is our Eagle Scout, to present a project that he has, that he wants to do. You're all set.
Thank you. My name is Evan Lalak, and I'm, as you said, presenting for the approval of a pollinator garden near where the winter bonfire is, near the sidewalk on the far side of the Kent Town Circle. And I believe that my pollinator garden would be a great addition to the beautiful landscape of this Kent Town Circle. Now, you can't quite see the TV, and you can't quite see this either. But I plan to build a pollinator garden, as you see here, 2 of them, actually a hexagonal garden that is 4 feet long with each side and 8 feet across from 2 opposite points is a raised bed, 2 foot high pollinator garden with 7 different flowers. Each pollinator garden will be 3 feet apart, 4 feet apart for a wheelchair to run in between. They'll be along the sidewalk, and they have a rubber mulch and weed mat set out around them so that they're wheelchair accessible. I'll also be posting a permanent sign next to them talking about the importance of pollinator gardens, the flowers, and the importance of pollinators to the environment. As you can see, the 7 flowers in there are labeled from 1 through 7. First flower is the gay feather flower, which is a very tall perennial with a purple color like the circle, and will have a cascading effect from the different circles around it, which will make the appeal easy to see from any angle. The gay feather flower is at the top. The next purple flower is the purple domed aster, which is a medium height flower, a also native plant and perennial. You also have in that section the orange milkweed and lance leaf corpus, which are both native plants, which in sequence are orange and yellow. Then you have 3 different shades of violets posted around the outside, which will complete the appearance and be perfect for any native pollinators. Now, there are 3 main types of pollinators in the area: butterflies, hummingbirds, and bees. Now, I thought that it would be best to center the flowers around butterflies because the bees, you don't really want bees in a public area with a lot of kids, and hummingbirds are relatively rare in this region, and you may not see as many, but butterflies are enjoyable beauty all throughout the spring and summer months. A lot of these flowers do not coincide, so you'll have a long blooming season throughout all of summer and spring, and some of them even last into early fall. You can actually see pictures of the different flowers here. The gay feather flower is the one at the top left, continuing with the purple dome aster, orange milkweed, and lance leaf corpus, going from left to right. And the bottom 3 are the different shades of violets. Now, I have in my next slide the work phases. So I'm in the approval phase where I have already gotten the approval of the Kent Conservation Advisory Committee, and I am seeking approval from the town board to place the garden on town property, which is just myself. The fundraising is the next part. I plan to do the fundraising, as I'll show in my 2 more slides, that I am planning on doing several different fundraising techniques along with selling flowers through, where is it? Raising ideas. So this is flower fundraiser where I sell flowers to people at their door, which are 50% off. I get 50% of the money. And if I buy the flowers which I need from that company, I will get 50% off pretty much on them. I'd like not to do a GoFundMe page on Facebook, but there's always the option. And I would like your permission to collect donations at different town events and such, so that I'll be locally involved with the town to raise money for the pollinator garden. Next stage is putting the box together, which I'll most likely do over next winter because I want it prepared for the spring planting season where I would get where the flowers would be most likely to take hold and survive. next stage, placing and filling boxes, planting and setting the sign. Sign contains information on the pollinators and how important they are to the environment, along with a few things about why you should have a pollinator garden in your home. A lot of them are easy to maintain because you need native plants. And the scouting community will take care of that process. Now, this is my financing page with the flower boxes on top, $500, and it eventually adds up to $1,180, which I will all raise myself as the Eagle Scout project. Now, I was told that the Road and Highway Maintenance Department of Kent would be supplying my soil because they have a large composting program and we're willing to donate it, but I will be buying topsoil and rubber mulch and a ground cloth to go around my pollinator garden. But that is where the main amount of soil comes from. The flowers will be sourced at gardeners.com, which is a gardener's website where you can find, where I'm also buying the gardens. And the way I'm assembling them, I'm buying 4 of them and assembling them as 2 separate gardens and putting together the pieces so that they're twice as large. And I already possess all the hardware needed. The $300 for the sign, which will be a personalized sign about pollinators, about the garden, which will rest in between the 2 gardens for people to read. It's a weatherproof sign that should last for at least 20 years, give or take. Now, I will be asking for other discounts as I go around from Home Depot or ShopRite, where they may be able to supply some of the materials for a discount or free because I'm doing it as an Eagle Scout project. But the $1,180 is the max amount of cost that it would be. Raise all the money myself. That's fundraising ideas. Yeah, that's the end of the slideshow. I'm sure you're questioning about any other information you might have. I can answer any questions that you have about the project or anything like that.
Well, you did a great job in your presentation.
Absolutely, well spoken.
Thank you.
It's your first time speaking in public?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, good job. Wait,
did a
there's no
great job.
ums. You did excellent job. Yeah, very good.
Thank you.
So where's the winter camp bonfire? Is that
So
over
it's
toward
all
the
way,
police
like,
station?
It's like where the playground's here, it's over on the end of the sidewalk. over there.
Behind the
So it's
playground?
close to the playground, kind of. I think I have a picture.
The walkway that goes to the police station?
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, back. It would be right there. That's the drawing of the sidewalk and the playground right above it, although it's not in the way of the bonfire at all. It's also drive-through accessible for people who can't leave their car in the town center, so you can always enjoy it.
So when you establish this, is there water source nearby where you'll be able to water them to get them to start growing? Is there hose spigots out there or anything?
We have a hose.
Hose?
So I was planning on buying a water dispensing system where it's I just heard of this earlier today, but it's a 3-gallon tank where you can pressurize it and use it similar to you would a hose. It's also significantly cheaper than a long hose would be, because I believe we checked and the town does not have a hose long enough to reach from a spigot.
Okay. Sounds like a great
Yeah,
idea.
it does. I don't think we have another resolution, but if one of you wants to just
I would like to mention that we don't have anybody currently to take care of the garden for an elongated period of time for weeding and such, but the garden wouldn't need very much watering, only in its early stage. It's from these climates and can last on the natural water supply of the rain.
You need approval from the board tonight to move forward?
Yes.
Is that-
Yes, yes, I do.
I'd like to make a resolution to accept Eagle Scout how do you say your last name?
Lilac?
Laylak, to accept the Eagle Scout project of Evan Laylak for a pollinator garden in the Kent Center. Make this motion.
Motion second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There you go.
Thank you
Well
very
done.
much. When you-
Thank you. For the paperwork and such, can I?
She'll sign
Okay.
for you.
Whatever you need, just contact my office. And I have someone right in my office that will be happy to help take care of the garden. She's like a master gardener, my secretary, so she will gladly help.
Thank you.
All right, we gotta turn the cool air on in here.
Oh, it's
hot.
snuggly in here. I love it.
Hot in here. Keep lowering it.
I'm so nice and comfortable. Snuggly? Okay.
What's the next one?
Our next item is the budget transfers that we went over last week with Yulia. They were not in the backup for everyone to see, so they were put in the backup. They were on the website. You come on.
Okay.
I'll see as a-
No, you can come up and ask me. I don't know if we're gonna be able to answer you, but we'll try.
Thanks for putting the backup, though, on the website, because last week I couldn't keep up with as many things as she was doing.
I just didn't have the backup last week
Didn't have the
before
backup.
the meeting, well, to put it up, so that was why.
Okay. Well, I know I had it says 1 and then it says 5, so I'm just going to kind of skip around. On the first page, there was a one-time thing for precast concrete, I guess for highway, and I guess it's for the new building. Didn't that come out of the 8 million? Or that's coming out this year?
Can you give us some references? A ton of numbers on
Write
here.
down, okay, buildings, operations, and maintenance contractual, halfway down the
Right
page.
here.
Yes.
And then it says, some one-time charges. And it says precast concrete walls at highway, garage building, and the engineering. I thought that was part of the
That
whole,
was the wall they had to put up between where in the new building where they were gonna put the garbage trucks, to have a wall between that and where the highway trucks are, so that,
oh, it was added on after?
because
It was an add-on.
the garbage trucks are disgusting.
Smelly?
And we didn't want it with the we wanted some sort of a partition between the two.
Okay, I was wondering, because I thought it came out of the 8 million. What is digital surveillance under the police department? Police.
Hold on.
It says police, I can't see if that is, next time could we have bigger print?
The
ARP
ARPA expenditures?
I guess that's what it says. Digital surveillance.
We approved. Did you see it, or did you guys see it?
Oh,
84,000.
is that a license plate reader? Record recognition?
Tara?
You know what that is?
Rekor recognition, REKOR. Are those our body cams? No, what was
It says,
Digital.
the license plate readers?
Yeah,
Okay.
license
oh, that's a
plate
license
readers,
plate.
yeah.
readers.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go to Lake Carmel Parks. It's on the top, the engineering for the dam. You got a grant for 100,000, so it was 47,000 over, I guess. Do you see on the top, it says
Can
147,000?
you repeat it one more time? You said Lake Carmel.
Yes,
correct?
it's it comes under Parks, SP1,
Oh, Wonder Park.
I'm sorry.
and then it says Lake Carmel Dam Engineering on the top. And it says $147,000. Do you see it?
Want to step forward? and
Partially
it
covered
just
by the
shows-
grant, yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Did you see it or not?
Nope.
All right, give me your page.
I see 47,000.
Nope, you're on the wrong page.
Oh,
So you get P for parks, that's why I was just looking alphabetically.
SP1.
Right here. It might be on your last page.
Well, my question is that the 47,000, is that coming out of Lake Carmel? Because the dam is owned by the town of Kent. That's my
Oh, it is
question.
on the last page, yes.
It wasn't on the last page?
No, well, I'm looking, it's on the last page.
Okay.
Right, we got there. So it says engineering study for dam, partially covered by grant.
Right, which 100,000 was covered. But the 47,000 shouldn't be coming out of Lake Carmel.
As compared to the general fund is what you're referring to.
That's what I'm referring to.
I don't, but we should talk to Yuli about that because I do have a question about the dollar amount. And just so you know, I'm going to be completely upfront with you. We were awarded $100,000 with a $35,000 match. We didn't meet that. The whole project came out. The project, we did not spend as much on the engineering as we thought we did.
Right,
They are cutting us a check for $87,000 because we have that, some of it has to be a match for us.
okay, so you're going to get 87
So I'm
to
not
cover
sure-
that
I'm not sure where the
47?
147 comes from, because the
That wasn't
numbers,
the number.
because if that number were the case, we would be getting closer to the $100,000 back, and I just looked at what they were sending
The
back
number
to
was
us today.
135.
It was
wasn't it?
135, so I don't know why it's at 147. We have to clarify that. We can't give you an answer tonight.
Okay, well, I guess the clarification also is that Lake Carmel Dam, anything that happens with Lake Carmel Dam should be in the general fund, not in Lake Carmel Park District.
We've had that discussion.
Yes.
We'll straighten all those
Okay,
numbers out.
thank you. And the community center, are you taking out the 4,000 that was when it was open and had events, or are you just going to roll it over so whenever it opens up again?
Where are we looking at for that?
I'm sorry. Decrease appropriation, $4,521,000 under Lake Carmel Community Center events, SP 17180. It's in the next paragraph
No,
after.
I see it. So this is decrease appropriation. This is probably money that we took out because there was no, they had a budgeted revenue that we expected to
Right.
get, and it didn't come.
It didn't come, so they took it
decreased.
out,
Yeah.
okay. And I just want to say on the sanitation, the
Right.
dump fees are going up. They're
Where-
down at the bottom of the page.
Same page?
Lake Carmel Cen-
Refuse, not sanitation, refuse, right? Refuse and garbage?
Yes,
Contractual.
correct. A lot of houses, a lot of them are getting dumpsters, but a lot of houses are being flipped, and our guys are picking that stuff up, and these people should be told to get a dumpster because, look at the fees are going up. It went up last year. It's something to watch. And again, I see 28,000 to a minor repair and improvement work for the highway building. Again, I thought that was out of the 8 million. If you go down the page where the landfill is, it says 28,000.
I ran out of pages. And I was at the bottom of refuse. Are you going back now?
Well, like I said, these were not numbered, so it's hard to,
Are we on the same page that you were just on?
just on, no, it's the next page after the refuge.
That's my last page, the refuse.
Okay.
What is the number that starts with, like an A, D, what is that?
All right, wait a minute, let me get to this. Landfill, A8160.
No, that's my first page.
See this, yeah, doesn't have any numbers.
All right, so what was it called again?
It says landfill, 28,500.
That was for our.
Much higher cost to maintain the landfill. What are they maintaining?
We had the tub grinder in there.
Because there's a lot more valuation up on the top. When he has to buy 1,500 trees, what are we going to do? Is that what that's going to cover? It's a lot for the tub grinder. We used to get the tub grinder. He has to plant 1,500 trees on the top. So I'd be watching that one. And the Ryan's Field, the electrical panel, was at the 19,800, but it came in at 22,500?
Yep. The lights.
The lights came in more? So it
Because
probably
of
should have,
issues with, they were so old, everything in there that.
I know, but then it probably should have went out to bid because the other guy kind of covered all of that.
I don't know. Don't you know, I
Okay,
can't
I
figure
thought
out
you
where
were
we're
looking
at.
at it.
No.
Okay, well, so I know you want to pass this tonight, but are you going to take out the Lake Carmel one just to get that straightened with Yulia, or
We can-
how important is it to do right now?
Well, we have a special meeting on Tuesday, a week from today, at 9 AM. So we can put this over to Tuesday if we want to do that. That way it's a week, it's not like it's 2 weeks away, it's a week, so.
Okay. Well, I didn't know how important it was to you, but I just,
I mean, it's important, but it's important to have it correct, so I think
Okay.
we can wait the week.
all right.
Is
Thank
everyone
you.
good with that?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
absolutely.
fine with it. I'm not.
And Yulia will also be here on Tuesday at this meeting, so that might be.
easier.
Yep, so,
There's questions on here that I have also, that I can't believe you didn't ask, but I'm not gonna bring them up.
all right, so we're gonna table this for next Tuesday. Okay. All right, our next item is everyone good with moving on? We're
Yeah,
good?
yep.
Okay.
Sure.
Our next item is our natural resource registry. We had a presentation a few weeks ago, and now the NRI is, well, Ann Campbell's asking us to just, there's no requirement for a public hearing, but they would like the town board to vote to release the review before the steering committee distributes it. I did put the link online because it is 190-something pages, so I didn't put it in the backup and it's not in your, but I sent everyone a link, it's not in their agenda tonight.
Is that what she was asking? Is that the email she sent?
This is the email from, what's,
Correction?
no, it's the email from Ann said this morning,
Richardson.
exactly what she wanted.
Okay,
You guys good with that?
yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was being released, that version was being released to the town board before it goes to back to the steering committee, but we have it, so I guess we're
Yep.
reviewing
This
it.
was from her this morning, she said.
Oh, I read it. It came from me
So-
too.
Okay,
I just misunderstood what she was asking.
okay. All right,
You want to read this
I
one?
don't.
Sure. I make a motion for a resolution authorizing the distribution of the third draft of the National Resource Registry. The town of Kent,
It's natural, not
Oh, what is
natural.
it?
It's a misspelling on it. Natural Resource Registry.
yeah, okay, the third draft of the Natural Resource Registry. Let's see. Be it resolved,
Actually, it's Natural Resource Inventory, isn't it?
NRI, natural.
Yeah, it's not even the right name. It's the Natural Resource Inventory.
inventory, okay, Natural Resource Inventory. Be it resolved that the town board wishes to distribute the third draft of the National, I'm just gonna read it off here, the Resource Registry. A copy of
Natural Resource Inventory.
inventory, so let's just write that there. Inventory, a copy of which is annexed hereto and made part thereof of the Town of Kent departments of committees, governmental agencies, local nonprofit organizations, and to make it said document available to town residents for review and comment. And be it further resolved that copies of the NRI will be available on the town website, and the NRI will be discussed at the next meeting.
Lana?
Not the special, August 1st, is that the meeting that you're talking
Is that a
about?
regular meeting or the
That's a
special
regular
meeting?
meeting.
Oh,
The
August.
special meeting is next week, so it's August 1st.
August 1st.
On August 1st, 2023. And be it further resolved that all written comments must be received by the town by,
4 weeks. September 1st.
September 1st, 2023.
Is that right? Because it has to be approved. What was that letter again she sent?
It looks like, according to her email, she's
It has to be
saying,
back to somebody, but in September sometime.
comments received by August 15th in her email that she sent.
Oh, she did? So change that to August 15th. 2 weeks instead of 4 weeks.
Okay. See, be it resolved that all written comments must be received by the town by
August 15th.
August 15th, 2023.
Make that motion.
I make that motion, sorry.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Our next item is electronic waste. The county was approached in the health department, and they came in last week with a proposal, although we don't have to sign up for anything, but they will pick up e-waste on a consistent basis for no cost to the town. The only thing that the town has to provide is some sort of shed or something to keep the e-waste in. So you could do a tiny little shed out there. They provide the pallets, they provide everything, they pick it up whenever we call them to come, and there is no cost to the town. The only cost is the shed that we have to buy.
This is for public e-waste or town generated e?
Public.
In a little shed out back?
Well, they'll come every week,
Oh, all right.
so
And there's no town?
Patterson signed up already to
There's
do
no
it.
town employees that have to be used to maintain or do anything with it?
Well, there might be.
There might be.
Not to maintain, just to check on it and stuff, but.
Is it open all the time where the public just drives up and opens the door and
can
puts
be,
stuff
yes.
in? There won't be
We-
people
so
ransacking through it with it?
So with this, we kind of hold everything in our hands of of how we want to run it.
Okay.
It's our show, and they just come whenever I call them to say, please come and pick it up, which could be every week.
So it could be where our maintenance guy unlocks it in the morning when he gets here and locks it up before he leaves, so we don't have people up there.
He could
rummaging
say,
through
or we
all
could
that.
say on Mondays, every
Okay,
Monday you
all
can
right. We have
come,
that
and that's
control.
it, just
That's fine.
Mondays. But
Sounds good.
it's gonna save us money.
Yep. That sounds good.
I don't know if you have a
I'm
resolution.
looking.
Do we have a resolution or no?
No, I just, it was just on for discussion. Do you want to?
I mean, we can vote on moving forward with it, or we can hold off, it doesn't matter, but I think this is sort of a no-brainer for us, because we've been spending a lot of money on e-waste days. And this would be more beneficial to the residents, they could come, once a week.
You already
versus
sold
our-
us on it, we just gotta figure out how to pass it.
Somebody can just make a motion to participate in the county e-waste recycling program.
Make a motion to participate in the county e-waste recycling program.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Nancy.
There's a lot of emotion in that one. Okay. All right, I make a motion to add a resignation and authorization to advertise to the agenda.
Second.
We received a
All in favor?
sorry.
That's
All in
right.
favor?
Aye.
We received a resignation letter this week, regrettably, from our building clerk, Sheila Finneran. Her last day will be July 28th, so I'm asking tonight that we accept her resignation and that we start the process of trying to fill that position. It is a tested position, and we have to canvass off a list.
Okay.
Okay?
Did you make a motion?
I make a
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
Let me do this one.
Well, no, I just need you to add that to the voucher list,
Oh.
because it's over the threshold.
Gotcha.
All right.
Is that it?
Do you want to
Vouchers?
voucher?
Are we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay. I ask the board to approve the following vouchers for July 28th, 2023 that are over the threshold. Han Welding Supply, $3,150.77 for welding supplies. MJB Enterprises, $2,240 for more beach sand because ours washed away. New York State Department of Civil Service, $244,896.08 for health insurance for July. Peckham Industries, $3,941.28 for blacktop for the police department. Ring Squared, $3,335.01 for telephone service. Win Carding, $9,270.94 for Lake Carmel garbage, $8,901. I'm sorry, let me repeat that one. $8,901.87 for Lake Carmel garbage, and $9,734.05 for Lake Carmel garbage. And we're adding Dunright Excavating Incorporated for the Ryan's Park entrance for the payment on the project that we're doing there for $20,000. I ask the board to approve as read.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I don't really have a lot of announcements, except that tomorrow we are showing our next movie night. It's Space Jam. It will start about 8:30, free popcorn, and come on out.
July 29th and 30th, the Putnam County Country Fest and 4-H Showcase will be at Putnam County Veterans Memorial Park, Saturday 10 to 6, Sunday 10 to 3. There's going to be dog shows, horse shows, a car show, 50 different craft vendors, public service vendors, food trucks. 4-H is going to have their duck derby fundraiser. They'll be selling milkshakes and corn on the cob. They're going to have animals there and do games with the kids. The fire departments are going to be there. They're going to do a Jaws of Life demonstration. Guardian Revival is going to be there doing some of their demonstrations with dogs, which is Richie Othmer's son's group that he's involved with. I think it's going to be a great event. It's going to be twice the size as it was last year, and it's going to be wonderful, great weather, I guarantee it.
No rain?
No rain. We turned the switch off those days.
Good, we got it all. All right,
What do we have, the St. James, don't they have a
Yeah.
carnival coming out?
Starts tomorrow.
yep.
And so it's a,
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Or no, I'm sorry, Friday and Saturday, not Sunday. What's tomorrow? Oh, no, it's the rest of the week,
No, it starts tomorrow because I had to get a golf cart down
but
there.
through to Saturday.
Through to Saturday.
so St. James having the carnival and it starts tomorrow.
Yep.
And that's always fun. I always take my kids there. Well, I did when they were little. Now I just go there to eat the Zeppelis. All right.
Great. Public comment?
I did forget.
Just tell us what page we're on.
It's at the end.
Okay,
Your end or
but
my
what
end?
end is that?
It's the FEMA money.
Okay, hold on.
So we did get FEMA money.
We got some
We're
back.
starting to.
So we had two checks roll in. They were
Yep.
from the original work, not the big money yet, but the, like the rubbish cleanup and stuff like that we were able to
Right, 'cause
submit
it's
from Empower.
Well, I guess it's both the same date, but it says New York State disaster and then FEMA. So you got two checks?
That's from the 2020 storm.
Right.
That's Richie's FEMA from a long time ago.
Oh, from a long time
That's
ago.
not the Lake Carmel.
Oh, so
FEMA.
you have the other, you have the other
Yeah,
FEMA you
aren't
said?
all these budget transfers the 2022 budget
Yes.
transfers? This is all last year's budget transfers.
Okay.
But I will point out the one I want to know, and maybe Tara, can you answer this one for me? Because I didn't know the answer to it last time. Under the police on here, it has down for a new, it says police payroll, $167,198. In parentheses, it says new police officer not budgeted, promotions.
But it would have been from last
But it
year.
would have been from 2022.
And we haven't had a new officer in,
2 years. So I think we need to ask Yulia. We had a question about that when we first saw it.
mark on yours
I
too,
will.
just so we don't,
Yep.
because on Tuesday we can ask her about that. Okay.
I mean, you don't have an empty position that we haven't filled, right? I just don't understand what that is.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Bill Walters, Building Inspector, Town of Kent. Spoke to you earlier about ProChamp, our vendor that we've been using for our vacant buildings is no longer in existence. So I have two names of other contractors or other vendors that either we need to look at or we need to come up with a new plan on how we're going to continue the registration for vacant buildings.
So let's ask a question right off the bat. We had ProTrans for how many years? 4 years? 3 years?
3 years, I believe.
Were you happy with the work they were doing?
Yeah, we brought in a lot of money.
And these other companies, they do the exact same thing?
We haven't investigated that part. They say they do according to web pages, but
And that would be my only request of you as you're researching these, is you ask for a lot of references, because I think there's probably a lot of fly-by-night agencies that promise that they do this same thing, and we don't want to get caught up in any of them. But
Okay.
I agree with you. I thought ProChamps, Bill Hustis has brought that in, and I thought that it was doing a pretty good job for us.
Yep.
We were getting some payments coming in to help address that.
I just wanted to offer, the way we found ProChamps is by looking at what other communities were doing, what other municipalities were using. So my office is available to help you with that.
Okay.
Again, if you'd like.
Great.
we would like.
We would like.
I'm being inundated with a lot of extra work here lately, so yeah, whatever somebody else can do would be greatly appreciated. But I'll ask Jack to do a little bit more investigating on that part.
Especially if other municipalities, we want to see what the comments are coming back from the other municipalities.
yeah.
If they're as happy as we were with Pro-Trans, and it's a shame
Yeah.
that they're gone.
The other item that I want to bring up is more building department related, more of a public notice. With the hotter weather, appears that Walmart's been running a sale on swimming pools lately. There is regulation, swimming pools that are deeper than 24 inches needs a permit. Town zoning code requires permits. They need to be 15 feet from structures and property lines. So, I mean, we're getting a lot of complaints, not complaints, but as we drive around, we're seeing a lot of pools that are going up. They need permits. So we're here to help you get through that. There's electrical requirements and everything else. And I've had people come in, well, I just bought it at Walmart. It's a temporary pool. There still need a permit. There still need to be electrical requirements because kids still die in pools. Okay? So if the pool is deeper than 24 inches, come in. We need it.
That's good advice, Bill, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Wanda Schweitzer. At last town board meeting, I had brought up regarding Route 52, and I did speak to Rich Othamer outside after the meeting. The following day, he did have somebody down there, and then I waited a few more days, and I saw nothing after that. So then I did call the highway department on Friday. I did not receive a call back yet, but I did take pictures in case anybody of the town board members wanted to see them.
I saw it.
Yeah, I stopped by there too.
Not sure when it's there or why it's there, but I saw it.
Well, just so that you know that the tractor and whatever other equipment he had been running back and forth over the pipes that come from the pump house towards 52, so those pipes were being run over. Plus, if you look in the footage right towards the lake, whatever they dug up, there used to be a house over there, the old real estate place. There's some piping there towards the lake. But it's still, whatever he had a tractor down there the other day, a small one. So he did move stuff around, but he still can't leave it like that because when you come to the intersection there, it still looks like a roadway because there's concrete there and stuff. So that's why I did take the pictures and did bring them in. So, but I haven't heard yet because I asked what he planned on doing with it, if anything, if I could be informed. That was the first thing. The second thing, which is a very important thing that I wanted to bring forth to the town board, and I'm not sure if you're aware of it. I'm not sure if it's the Park District, and I'm not sure if it's the town highway department, but on East Lake Shore, and I think is it East Croton, that used to be Lake Carmel Park District property. As far as I know, it still is. There's major dumping going on in there. Somebody started putting a roadway in and then stopped. And there is a sign that says no dumping. So I took pictures. Now, the reason I felt they were so important, that the dirt is contaminated. It is full of salt. It is full of blacktop mixed in with it. There is about a 15-foot of wood chips and soil, and then there's other piles of just branches and debris. There's another pile of gravel, several piles of just junk, and then there's a road starting to go to nowhere, and it just ends and drops.
And what's the location?
Right off of East Lakeshore, right alongside the dam.
East Croton.
So
it is town property or Lake Carmel property, and I do know that at one point when Frank was having trouble finding a space to doing something, we told him he could dump debris. I don't think it's the blacktop, somebody else must have put there, but we'll check into it.
Okay,
Because
because
it
it's
is-
mixed, it's all mixed in together, that's my
We'll see if it
concern.
was our guys and see what it was.
So, and there's
What we wanna make
as you
sure
see,
is that
there's
it's not a
gravel in there
contractor
too.
or something.
Okay, I'd appreciate that. The next thing, from coming to the Park District meeting as well as these meetings here, when there's been issues with whether it's the beaches or whether it's been the parking lots, the first thing you guys say is to call the police. I had gone down to Beach 7. I took my nieces and nephews over to another beach, and I don't understand how I'm supposed to call the police if there's no signage stating what it actually is. I went over to use the fishing dock. You pull up, which I have pictures, you pull up, there's absolutely no signage stating it's private property, it's Park District property, permit required, there's nothing. Even when you're entering the fishing dock, it doesn't say anything that it's lake facility, that it's private property. All it has is a sign which says, carry in and carry out your garbage, but yet there's a garbage can right underneath it, which makes absolutely no sense. But I'm a little concerned, because after that, I'm like, I took my nieces and nephews home, and then I'm driving around, which I didn't get to go around the rest of the beach, and I'm like, a lot of these signs are all gone. A lot of them, there's a few that are new, but the majority of them, they're gone. So my concern is, who authorized to move these signs, and why are we removing them and not replacing them if we're removing them? Is there a different agenda going on here that I don't know about? For instance, at Beach 7, this is exactly what should be at every parking lot, and this was the only one that was done correctly.
Thank you.
And that's entering the beach the way they used to be.
I just made them last year and put them up.
Right. So that Beach 7 is the only one that has it when you're entering the parking lot. The other ones, I didn't see them at all.
These?
No. That,
Like this, she's saying, so
like
like
that.
where the fishing dock
When you used to
is.
empty,
Oh, yeah.
when you used to enter the beaches years ago, you used to have the big signs. Well, now Beach 5 and Beach 6, and the other parking lots don't even have, where Margaret Velocio's Rock is, there's one sign all the way over and towards the weeds, right before the parking lot ends up 52. I mean, so you really got to search for the sign, and you can barely see it. So, and I didn't, like I said, I didn't start going around, but I
First of
wanted to
all-
call the police.
First of all, let's get to one thing clear. There's no hidden agenda here.
Okay.
And we're not telling anybody to remove any signs
Okay.
anywhere. So that's just not true.
Well, okay,
We have talked at length about replacing signs and making new signs.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally went and designed these last year and went to XL Printing and had them printed and went out in my personal truck and hung them up with
Mm-hmm.
my son. So we are making an attempt to get these signs up.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably aren't up all over the place. That's very well done. And that's the way it should be
Absolutely.
at every beach. And we will get there. But there's no hidden agenda.
I thought that's what they said, they were going out to be out at each beach, and then when I saw it was only at the one beach, so then I misunderstood, I apologize.
Absolutely. And the
Underneath
fish- the
where,
fish- the
underneath
fish-
where it says carry in, carry out, we can get one of these.
And the fishing dock was put over there as a temporary basis
Yeah.
while we
Correct.
get the other thing done. But, I mean, there is a very poor sign. It looks like white with old red hand-painted words at the old Beach 6 by the parking lot. Because when I left here at the last meeting, I saw that there also. But it's over
So-
past the beach that says.
Correct.
all
It's
the
over
rules
by
on it.
Margaret
And if you
Velocio's
park
Rock.
at the Arts on the Lake, you're never going to see it coming in from
Correct.
that direction.
And the other thing is by Beach 6, I took a picture. It's a safety issue, because you could drive, especially had events going on there, because I tried, my car would have went right on there. I wanted to see how much the opening was. There has to be something put there, whether it's two pipes so that nothing can go through there. Because there's so many events that do go on over at Arts on the Lake, we do need to put something back up there for safety issues.
Where'd the chain go?
Well, we have a chain over at 5, and you could still get a car right through there, and the chain is always down with the lock hanging there.
Maybe Frank can put a rock there.
Put
Whenever a big
anything there,
boulder
as
or
long as they get the
something.
motors through.
And one more
I
final
mean, I just,
thing before I let you go.
I don't disagree with you, but at the same time, you're saying this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. it's not happening. It's not like we have cars driving through.
Well,
there.
that just happened, you just took that down this year, didn't you?
I don't know, but they did all that work in there. They may have taken it down, forgotten to put it up. But I've yet to see a car pulling onto that lawn and parking there since it's been down.
But it is a safety issue, so now that you're aware of it, we need to
I mean,
address
it's a
it.
safety issue that somebody could drive on there and park their car, you're right.
Well, the reason being is that because when people come to Arts on the Lake and you go over there, you'll see all the cars, they park this way, right, they park directly like that, so that's what the concern was. That's the only reason.
Chain put back
We
up
can
or a
put
big
bal- we can
boulder.
put a-
Even if you
we
put
could put a
orange
removable
cones
bolliard in the
there, you know
middle.
what I'm saying? Even if you put an orange cone there, or something reflective, that's all.
I remember last time I was there was a chain across it, because I remember stepping over the top of it. We can
Well,
ask them
years
to-
ago, that's what used to be there, the red chains that
Right.
used to go
It was
across.
probably like all the other beaches, that was the entrance
Mm-hmm.
in. Although, wouldn't you have
No.
walked in from the other side?
I don't think you
Or
are.
did you
You
have to
did,
walk across
you
the
did,
front to
but they
come in?
put the vortex over there.
So you
and
had
they
to go all the
put-
way around the front to come in from
They
that
put
side?
it, they put a walkway there.
Oh, that's the walkway there.
And it's
between the
actually
grounds.
chained off, and believe there was people over that fence, even though it says you can't go in there, there was people in there today fishing.
And there's people fishing there from Connecticut, they're using the whole beach as a fishing.
Yeah, so, that was my concern, because I can't call the police if there's nothing for the police to go by, if there's no signs there, and it's not fair to the people to be given warnings. Because before, as
there's a
past
sign over there
chairwoman,
on
I
that
used to
side.
go around and say, do you have I still do, say, are you a resident? And people, I don't care, I'm at the point in my life where it's like, I pay all these taxes, and now my parents are paying all these taxes, and it's a lot of money, it's above and beyond the town's, taxes, so that was my concern. I just wanted to bring it forth.
I really don't want I would never encourage any residents, if they think something nefarious is going on there, to approach these people and talk to themselves. You gotta call the police. Let the police handle it.
You can't call the police if the police officer can't say there's the sign right there. It's a catch-22. It's not fair to the person that's fishing.
They know.
That's why I don't address them.
They know.
Address them right now, because I can't, and it's not fair to them either.
There's enough signs still up that they know
I agree to some degree.
they're not supposed to be
To some degree,
there.
I think we might have the residents-only signs that we could put, we could throw a couple up by the fishing bridge. They might not be exactly what you want them to say, but we could put something up for now.
Just so that people are aware of it. That's all. But my main concern is that dumping, because it is mixed.
Right.
trouble. Thank you.
No, please, look. I can't get it.
We had signs designed at one point, did we not?
Sue Kotzer, Town of Kent. The last meeting that I was here in this room, I made a comment about the wooden sign that was missing on Route 301, and I misspoke and said that I reported it to Lana, and it was a mistake, and I'm sorry. I wanted to apologize in public to you,
Thank you.
so I'm sorry.
Did we find it?
No.
No?
Not my job.
Might still be there then.
No, it's not.
Maybe the vines are hiding it. Maybe it's all grown up. Maybe the vines grew over the top of it. Is that laying down in the weeds? Huh. I go by there to pick my kids up at summer camp every day. If I can remember where it was kind of up on a hill a little bit, right?
The bear took it? He's got it in his den.
I just worry that they did a ton of line work down through there. Oh, really? Well, somebody knows that. Somebody picked it up. We'll find it.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for letting me speak this evening. I'm a resident of Kent Shore Drive, the intersection of Farmers Mills and Kent Shore Drive. And I'm sure you're aware that there has been a lot of comments about our little flagpole garden and decoration center. So as a resident of this area for 23 years, I wanted to just say that I am, or was, delighted to come home from White Plains, sometimes taking 2 hours to go 45 miles, and to come home and see those decorations, and in particular, Welcome Home. It sounds cheesy, but after a long commute and after a long day, I'm an insurance broker, nothing made me happier to go, I'm home. And I really enjoyed seeing those decorations. The past several weeks, there have been a lot of comments. A lot of them were fresh, and I understand that. But people in the neighborhood are upset. Those decorations have been going on for a long time. 10 years. 10 years. I have never, ever seen any of those well-grounded decorations end up on either Kent Shore or Farmers Mill. Not ever. I believe some of the complaints were cited that it impeded vision. In other words, when I was coming up Farmers Mills and I would make my left onto, Kent Shore Drive, onto Farmers Mills to head out to work or wherever, never did I say, those decorations are in my way. I can't see. First of all, it's a little bit of a hill, so you can clearly see cars coming. What direction is that? North, maybe? Onto Kent, from Farmers Mills. The issue impeding visibility is the shrubbery that gives you a very limited view where you actually, and coming here tonight, we were like, you have to really pull your car up and look to make sure no one's coming south down Farmers Mills so I can come and make that left turn. That's where the problem is. There are trees and shrubs that really need to be cut back. I love the green, it's great to see it this time of year, but you know what? It's a problem. And it does, and I've seen it myself. There's going to be an accident there someday, and I think that's going to be a problem. So my view would be to, instead of, let's leave the decorations alone for a moment, let's pay more attention to, as a matter of fact, coming out this way, dead tree, a big limb. I would say if we were 6 inches closer to the edge of the road, that tree would have hit me in the window. I was a passenger of the car coming over here. Those are the things that I think should be more of a concern to the community and us drivers. I'm 69 years old. I've been driving since I'm 16. I grew up in Yonkers, so this is like easy up here, but still there are a lot of those kinds of things that I think should be looked at. Additionally, I think that, and again, I'm not a politician. I certainly don't want your job. I think you guys do a great job. But I think this whole thing might have been handled perhaps a little bit differently. Some examples of that might be to, I don't know, have a poll or have a meeting, an open forum meeting, put it on the agenda where some people will find, yeah, I want to go speak my piece, and I like the decorations, or I don't like the decorations. And let's gentlemanly argue about it to see whether or not this wonderful lady, out of her own pocket, her own time, took care, nothing religious, nothing political, nothing, snowmen, flamingos. Some people said it looked trashy. Really? Summer, so what? It really, the point I'm trying to make is it meant a lot to all of us. And I know a lot of people couldn't be here tonight. I think that maybe put it on a ballot to vote, put flyers in people's mailboxes. We get tons of garbage mail every day. Maybe a flyer in the mail to the residents to take a poll to see who really cares about this, yay or nay. I don't know, open it up for discussion at the next meeting. I think that what happened here in record time, and I've never seen any political environment do something so quickly in all my life as this 2 days. Don't misunderstand, the flowers are very pretty. They're nice, they're done well. We'll see how long that lasts, but I think a lot of people are going to miss those decorations. Last but not least, and most importantly, and I feel strongly about this, where's the light on the flag? Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm too,
We can get one back on there, but
I think-
I would like to just answer you back because I was the one that took all the heat on social
I know
media.
you did, I know you did.
And I actually had nothing to do with it.
I know.
Answered on
I know
Facebook
that too.
because this came directly, so, because we're sort of the wrong people to even,
I found out about it this afternoon. I didn't know nothing about it.
Yes.
I'm not on social media.
And you know what, frankly, I never, ever, ever, ever post. My friends call me a stalker. That may or may not be true. But I felt so strongly about this because personally I felt, really? This was so sweet and so wonderful. And I also don't know what the heck happened months and months, and what, 10 years? And now all of a sudden it's a problem? Something just felt wrong. Something just didn't feel right to me. Something felt like I think all of us could have handled it differently. And I do want to say, and I don't mean to be,
Yeah, I'd like to give the supervisor, she wanted to explain the
Yes.
entire situation, and I interrupted him. I
okay.
should have.
I
been
just
sorry.
wanted to mention Mr. Othmeyer, I hope I'm not mispronouncing his name. He didn't say the street name correctly. He said, what, Lakeshore? Lakeshore Drive, among other, but it was the wrong street. So, again. But my whole bit and the final thing would be to really, the decoration shouldn't be such an issue as much as let's get the flag lit at night.
well, we can look about getting
Absolutely.
that. That's,
That'd be awesome.
So I had no issue with the decorations. I have
Mm-hmm.
young kids. They thought, they liked it whenever we drove past. It wasn't me. So our highway superintendent and the county, actually, because that's a county road,
Mm-hmm.
they were the ones that said, where do you have to take the decorations down? It was brought to their attention, and they were the ones that did it. And I answered for them on Facebook
understand.
because I was on Facebook, and then suddenly I was the terrible person that wanted the happy decorations taken away because I'm miserable and I don't know. But I promise you that wasn't the case.
Mm-hmm.
That was something that the county told the town highway superintendent that they could not be there anymore. And that was the action that was taken. It had nothing to do with the town board.
I know.
Um,
I don't, as I said,
and
I
I
don't.
feel
think-
bad,
If I may add to Arlene's comments.
Yes.
For me, the bigger issue was the way it was handled.
and again,
It was handled very poorly. The
Mm-hmm.
town of Kent has suffered a black eye in its image because communities around us, people are laughing at us about the way that this was handled. I mean, it was.
I think you saw some of the
It
comments
came
on
abruptly.
Facebook.
Right, I'm not on Facebook or any social media either. I'm not, that's my, but believe me, I've heard from so many people who read comments to me, told me about it, said things to me. And the way that it was handled, I think breeds mistrust in the elected people.
That's not what we wanted
I still
to
don't
do.
even know hardly what we're talking about.
Yeah, you see what I'm talking about? I mean, it came on so suddenly. I first heard about this on Tuesday. My neighbor across the street sent me a message. Oh my God, did you know that? And then by Thursday, my daughter came home from work and said, Mom, they already planted flowers there. And I said, what?
so
In
the
2
flowers,
days?
I'm going to be honest, for me, because I knew they took the decorations away, and I had someone go out there and plant the flowers, thought there was something there. That
No, I
was me
understand,
trying
because-
to,
Flowers are pretty.
You mean you
That
didn't
was-
like that one sorry little weed?
How did this happen in 2 to 3 days' time? I mean, you really gotta check this out because this is like record time.
I'm not familiar with any of this,
Me
but it
neither.
sounds like all of this was going on the right-of-way that belongs on a county road, and that it wasn't handled by the town board at all.
It
because
wasn't.
It was a
It
county
wasn't.
issue, and you guys had nothing to do with
I
it.
answered on Facebook what had happened, and then I sort of got
People are asking
the
you for
slack.
answers, but this
Okay.
board didn't do anything.
No,
It's
yeah,
not their road.
absolutely. But I was just wondering, and again, forgive me, because politics I'm not a little sketchy on. Would it be wise to have somebody from the highway department here so we can talk to them about it?
You're always welcome to, I mean, we can have someone here, yes, or we can, you
Maybe.
are always welcome to call Richie Acker, the highway superintendent.
Okay. Well, I might do that.
Or it,
I'm sorry?
Maybe ask someone from the county, because it was their decision and their direction.
Well, that might be a good idea. And again, not a shouting match. We're all adults here. Hopefully, we'll speak, well, you all taking your time to do this, I'm taking my time to do this. You know, we all mean well for the community. We don't want to be the town of Kent, you know, and we don't, I'm not, look, I live here. I choose to live here. I can live anywhere I like. I like to live here. But, you know, this was an issue that we all felt pretty strongly about. And for Mr. Othmeyer, who made several comments in his letter, and one of which I'm going to also mention is that, you know, he mentions that the town or the highway department will assume liability if some serious or fatal accident occurs. Honestly, that's not entirely true. The driver that caused the accident will assume the liability and the responsibility.
Well,
Will
the town can be
the highway, everybody's on the menu.
Everybody.
You,
Right,
me,
but if
all
we
of
have
us.
record of it and
I
that it
understand.
causes a bigger issue for the town. And that's-
Absolutely. So I'm thinking that, you know, he should really try to pay attention to his letter. Let's get that letter corrected so it cites the correct address or the street name or the road name or whatever. And, you know, again, most importantly, I'd love to see a light on the flag.
So what we can do is
And
schedule.
maybe in
we
the
can
future, after
schedule-
the summer or whatever,
We could
clearly
schedule
we
the
have
highway
other-
superintendent to come in and discuss this issue.
Yeah.
He's his own elected official, he doesn't answer to us, so.
Correct, I understand.
But it's truly, and I'm gonna relay again, the town board doesn't have a lot we can do here, because it's, you know, we can
Well, you're
listen,
allowing me to speak,
we
so
can
that's
listen,
great.
we can acknowledge that there's an issue, and we can try to facilitate a better solution for
Perfect.
you.
We
Okay?
were told that the town approached one of my neighbors and told her she was gonna be fine, if she didn't take the decorations down. And she wasn't even the right person. And, and she said, I told them, I'm not the one who does the decorations. So-
No one was getting
She
fined.
said two
That's-
people came.
Yeah, there were
to
some
the town.
comments, you saw them, and,
I know. Trust me, I
Yeah.
saw them.
and
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
spoke
see
to the
that
woman.
happening either, but.
Yeah,
you
I've
know.
never met her, but I spoke to the woman on the phone, and she told me that two officials from the town came and told her, and she said, I'm not the one who's doing it. She said, I put the flag up and down, but I don't do the decorations.
We can look into it, we don't
I don't
even
even
know
know
who
who
the
the
two
two
officials
That's what
would
I
be.
mean, how it's just been mishandled.
Ma'am, I think
all
that,
around.
you know, and you were, you know, fortunate or unfortunate enough to see close to 100 comments on Facebook, here nor there, a lot of which were negative. Some people just don't know how to speak, I get that. But I think it's probably prudent to consider having someone from the highway department, and maybe the county too, just so we could get a better grip on, you know, what this, because, you know, again, we all, I mean, I'm speaking for a lot of people, I realize, but I think we all loved seeing all of those decorations. They were not in anyone's way. They never blew off into the road. And they were well-grounded, well taken care of. The woman that did the decoration made sure of that, so we didn't have snowballs and flags and pink flamingos flying into the road, because that is hazardous, and I get it. But again, I thank you for your time allowing me to speak, and we'll see what happens over the next couple of months. All right?
Just two things I'd like to say. One is that
Yes.
for a solution, look for another spot to put them. So if we can't use it, if the county comes back and says you can't put anything there because of the line of sight, just find another spot somewhere nearby. You know, I wasn't here on the board, but you guys worked very hard along with Rich, getting several $1 million in funding for the dam and bridge down there. So Rich does work very hard, and he may have misspelled or you know, put the correct road in there, but his heart is a good heart, you know.
Oh, of course, we all
he
do.
knows what
We
he
all
does,
do,
yeah.
really.
So you can even work with him and possibly, now probably years before they actually put the
Okay.
bridge work in down there, maybe we'll put something down there.
We can
with
take
the
that
new
under
construction,
advisement.
You know,
Okay.
and we'll work on it with the architectures and, you know, put something nice down there for you, so.
Where was
you know.
this, in the V at the entrance?
No, there's
We're in the entranceway where the
a circle,
flagpole-
a stone,
But you could drive around both sides of it to come in, right?
yes,
I know where it was.
yes,
could put
hi,
decorations to the
how
right.
are you?
I'm the unfortunate person who for 10 years
Here,
volunteered
honey,
to
step
do
here.
this. Thank you.
Step
My
here.
name is Dion Reardon. I've lived in the town of Kent for 51 years. I've lived in South Lake the entire time. And this entire thing has just been ludicrous. First of all, the code enforcer shows up at my house. Now, I did find out afterwards that he went to 2 other people. The code enforcer happens to have lived in our neighborhood for probably the last 40 years, knows me, my kids, played in his house. And he did say, I will find you, the town will come throw the stuff out. Okay? He was on my front lawn, did not have a letter from the superintendent of highways, did not have a letter from the county, nothing. That is not the way to handle anything. That rock circle and flagpole has been at the entrance of South Lake for nearly 70 years. 70 years. In 70 years, not one county, town, or anyone has come out there and fixed the rocks when it's been hit by cars, by the school bus. The sign, and you can go out and look tomorrow, that says keep to the right is on the stop sign. Ask anyone who lives in there, how many people from out of town will argue with you that you're supposed to go out the wrong direction. The bus has been pulling in on the wrong side into head-on traffic for probably the whole 70 years they've been picking up kids in there. Somebody complained about the aesthetics. That's what happened. And someone in town hall, who's a master gardener, put a picture on the supervisor's desk with the words of, we can't allow this in our town. Okay? I think what you need to...
There was nothing on my desk.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what.
I was given nothing.
Well, I'll tell you what. I've been in the town, been in politics too. So I am taking this totally out of your town, and I will make a complaint. The complaint is Rich Othmer overstepped his boundaries way far. First of all, read his letter. Read what he calls the people. Read his political statement on town letterhead. Guys, wake up. Wake up to the town you're in.
I don't even
Because
know
I've
this
been,
letter.
well, and then I suggest you spend a little bit of time finding out. Because you know what? If you're all deposed, the truth will come out. Thank you.
I'm ready for that. That'll be an easy deposition.
Well, he's the person that, you know, would be able to,
So did ask him why on Saturday morning a town truck was mowing the Northwest Town where our supervisor, our superintendent of the highway department lives, but not any other road was mowed or the plants cut down. Why on Saturday morning was that? Did any of the rest of you get Saturday morning mowing?
again, that's something you would have to ask the highway superintendent, because he's,
Because you
but,
supervise these.
but he is an elected, but he is an elected,
I am telling you. It's not an opinion.
and I am defending myself because I feel that I have to. The highway superintendent is an elected position, just like myself, just like the rest of the town board. So then my thing to you is that if he is here, you can ask him these questions. We don't have the answers to these questions. We don't know. You are going to the wrong person. Your anger is coming towards the wrong person, and you are accusing myself that things were given to me. Nothing was given to me. There was no picture of anything on my desk.
Sounds to me like someone who's really,
Yeah.
do you think it's wise to have him here in some future meeting?
Richie is often at
Yeah,
the meetings.
he's usually
There was
here.
nothing on the agenda for him, so that's why he's not here tonight.
He's not,
Okay, pardon my ignorance.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
So when
not-
there's items on the agenda for him,
Oh, you know what, I did. I sent an email on the website and I left a message, no one
For-
got back to me.
Asking to be put on the agenda tonight about this issue.
I did not get
And
it.
no one got back to her. I
On the
think you said,
website.
I believe you did it last Thursday.
Last Wednesday, because I'm
Wednesday?
Wednesday.
That's right, Wednesday, I think they will.
I sent an email.
okay, I don't know who you emailed, if you emailed the highway
I went on the
superintendent,
website, the town.
but it depends
Right,
which,
We had a discussion about it,
Mhm.
and I said,
You know,
we're going to
that's
go
my
with the
fault.
meeting, perhaps. we
but
should
if you
be
call
on
my
the
office and we know about something like this, we can have Richie here. It's only, if we had highway items, he would be here. There's nothing on the agenda for him tonight, so that he doesn't come to every meeting.
So I think it sounds to me like maybe we should invite him. And again, not a screaming match, and we're all adults here, we need to be civil. We're not here to fight answers, but, you know, just to get to the bottom of this for everyone concerned. I think.
the paperwork he did.
Sorry?
He could produce all the paperwork he did.
Well,
All the pictures he took of the line of sight that he didn't see.
I mean, whatever I want to comment personally about the letter, I would speak to him personally. I wouldn't hold him out in an open forum like this, because that's not nice. But I think that, you know, now that I understand
The hierarchy of,
yes, you know, and again, it's, no, but I personally, I'm not against anything, or I just, you know, obviously we feel strongly about it, and maybe it's probably a good idea to, you know, get somebody to so we can kind of, you know, talk more openly about it. So something like this should be utilized in the future, you know, because people get pretty hot about political things, obviously, and we don't.
I know, but this is, I don't see how this is political, but.
Well, these things, you know, so we don't, I'm not here.
But you should be aware that this is going on in your town.
Right, and but, you know, obviously.
It is a hot issue in our neighborhood.
But obviously, our highway superintendent is the one that has to answer this, or the county highway.
I'm not sure. Like I said.
Excuse
this is
me?
Sorry.
Sorry?
I didn't hear what you said about me.
Throwing the superintendent of highways under the bus.
I'm not throwing him under the bus. This, can one of you explain it, because I'm not.
I think that you're right. I think he needs to, you know, he's
I'm-
the gentleman that we should be directing these comments to, by all means.
I'm not throwing anyone under the bus, but he's the one that made the decision and wrote the letter, so I can't say or do anything to change that. So I'm not, that, it's just a matter of fact that that's, if I did something that in regards to town hall, he would say, well, Jamie did that, that's her, you know, that's her decision.
Okay, please invite him, and when, how will we know when he's coming? So that we can come and speak.
Should send a letter to everyone in South Lake, just like he did.
But I'm sorry, I can't.
All right, I understand exactly what they want. Could you please re-email an official request to the supervisor asking for this to be on discussion on the agenda with the highway superintendent for our next official meeting? All right, and ask for confirmation that you received, the email was received. That will trigger Jamie to invite the highway superintendent to the meeting to have this discussion. Okay?
I'll be happy to. Thank you for giving me the time.
Anybody else? We're not going into executive session tonight. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.